when was that point, that break-even point, when you say, hey, sales has changed over the last, I would say after COVID, over the last 5 years, 6 years? And what is that change? What happened? What happened in your daily operations? What are the things that are impacting your performance? And if you have some techniques or tactical tips that you can share, please be my guest.
So I remember my first role as an SDR at Autodesk.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my boss at that time, so fresh out of the university, master degree. I felt like I'm gonna conquer the world.
We all thought that, and that never happened.
No,
right?
no. And then my boss, he said, okay, here's an Excel file of people who downloaded AutoCAD licenses like 5 years ago and call the 100 contact people from the top to the bottom and try to convert it in an opportunity. And it was horror. It was really hard.
That was the whole ramp up process,
that
right?
was like kind of my onboarding,
That's crazy.
I had like after that, I think week 2, I wanted to quit because I was like, how should I convert someone?
Yeah.
I called a woman. She said, yeah, this was my husband. He died like a couple of years ago, but she still wanted to talk to me like 10, 15 minutes because...
Without selling anything,
exactly.
Just chit-chat.
I was like a therapist at the end for her, but it was like the old way how you really got a list. It was not like the time before us, where they had the yellow books and they had to call through. I think this was a completely different level, but we had... I get an Excel file and I had to call from row 1 to row 100.
And how did you become that self-performance guy? Well, because when you see the scenario, you say, hey, I'm screwed here. Like, what are the things that I should do? How did you make yourself like a great seller in that scenario? And till now, right?
It was pretty tough, to be honest, like going through this list. But I think what every seller needs was this resistance and persistency to really finish your job, right? Do it, go through the hard times. And then there will be a time where you gonna have this one call and suddenly this one opportunity comes out of it, right? So I think this was the moment where I thought like, wow, there is something, right? I can get a lead out of this list. And I had always the thought like, no, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna finish this. And I think this is the mentality I had over the last 10 years as well as a seller and all the different kind of roles. But coming back to your question, what I think changed, I think, to be completely honest with you, I think the last 3 years after COVID, when AI came into place, this was the time when sales really, really changed, right? Because
why you say that?
Because there are so many tasks which you usually did on a manual effort from the prospecting part to identify really in a way which could be the right individual in a company to reach out, crafting like a personalized message. You don't need to do it really manually anymore. You can do it personalized in scale, right?
It's crazy.
And I think this is the biggest change sales and tech sales specifically has or is happening at the moment.
So let me stop you there. And I think that this is a question for both of us. I don't want to jump and spoil the cards. But at some point, this is a question that I get as a consultant as well. And you as a full-time enterprise seller, do you think that AI will replace us?
Let me give the answer back to you, the question back to you. What do you think?
Man, I don't want to be polite and say, oh, the AI will replace people that don't know how to use AI, or just the tasks that could be automated and will help us perform better. Reality is happening, and it will replace a lot of people. If not, it's already happened, right? In fact, let me tell you a fun story, and it's a scary story on my side. I'm working with a French company right now, and we are developing a sales trainer, and that's my role, right? I'm training them, but instead of training their team, we are training an AI so they can train their team with my methodology. So I'm scared, man, as you know what? Because the thing happening here is like, hey, Alan, we are using your knowledge to train an AI that will be 10 times faster, better, no complaining, no asking for a raise, no asking for anything, and giving us feedback at scale with your methodology. So at some point I'm saying, hey, even if I know how to use the AI, somehow I will be replacing some areas. But I still think that in my case, in your case, we still have some time and some leverage because of the knowledge, because of the background, because of the human relationships that we build, besides the personal branding on LinkedIn, of course. But I do believe that this will replace us at some point, man. It will. It happened with, if you look back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, from e-commerce to logistics to everything in terms of on demand, everything changed and everything replaced some people. Every new era replaced some people, but brought some new people that knows how to or understood how to use that. I don't know what you think about it.
I agree. Like, I think it's hard to not believe that AI will replace certain positions. Like, I think that everything which is repetitive, can be replaced.
That will be done. Yeah.
Look,
so the title could be at this time of the day that AI, Alan and Kevin said that AI will replace people. Or not?
Yeah. Man, you just said it. AI, you're training a coach with your knowledge.
Will replace me.
Who will replace you. Yeah. So it's and I think it's really hard, right? I think for humans it must be it's tough, right? I think as well certain in sales roles like inbound sales reps, right? It's a really repetitive task usually. And I think these are certain jobs which they will not there anymore in a couple of years. It's really just a couple of years.
Yeah.
If you see
even less at some point,
how the speed of AI happened in the last 3 years.
It's crazy.
You know, I don't know if you know this video of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
You know how
it's famous.
Yeah, how it was like 3 years ago and how is it now?
It's 100% realistic. And 1 or 2 years ago, you would say, this is so fake that I won't use it so much. Now that you mention AI, I have 2 or 3 ideas in mind. First of all, I see a lot of people asking me, like, hey, Alan, we need to implement AI in our companies. We will jump into deeper topics about this and episodes specifically about AI, but for teasing people as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned inbound as well. What are the things, what are the topics, what are the strategies that you have within your experience or even right now as an AE and in enterprise to deal with inbound, to deal with outbound, how you prioritize? Can you share some tactical actions that we can share with the people?
Yeah, so I think from the inbound perspective, right, speed absolutely matters because you have to be fast to answer those inbounds and getting in front of them to speak to them as fast as possible. Because, of course, every company who is looking for a solution, they already educated themselves or looked for certain informations at your website, the competitor's website, etc. And in my case, for example, as enterprise seller, I realize if I'm the third company on the table, it's difficult, you know, to put the pace for the other competitors because maybe someone already pitched, another company pitched before. They put maybe some traps because they know who are the competitors. They put some traps and say, yeah, we are specialized in that one. Many other companies don't do that because they know the certain weaknesses other companies have. So you can easily put certain traps at the beginning of the first calls.
Yeah.
So it's really important to be one of the first getting those inbound lead answers.
Okay.
Of course, like it's not about that you are if they request different provider at the beginning and you are the last provider, of course it can be happening that you're the last. But
and how do you make sure that you are prioritizing that? Do you work with your sales ops team, your rev ops team? Do you have some notifications coming in through your CRM? Like, what's the process if we need to put it super tangible for
so it's we have I would still say quite an old-fashioned way.
Okay.
So we have an inbound SDR who receives the leads.
Okay.
Follow up, call them,
try to qualify them.
Try to qualify them, and then book meetings for us. Right.
Okay.
What I do personally, I look every morning in the queue to see if there are any kind of potential
beautiful lead,
and I say, hey, please call them directly. That's a priority for me. I need to get this meeting as soon as possible scheduled.
Okay.
And just to be ahead of the curve, and then have that. What about you? You're right. You're your own. You have your own company.
Yeah.
I think every lead counts for you as well, right?
Yeah.
That and there are also some other good coaches out there.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that if you get like inbound leads?
Absolutely. And let me answer this in a really straightforward way. The first one, starting from the last thing that you said, that is, there are a lot of good coaches out there. The thing with being a consultant, a trainer, or a coach, or you name it, that sometimes it's a bastard profession, as well as the seller, right? It's like, hey, what do you do? I'm in sales. Be careful with this guy, right? The same with the coach or the consultant. It's like, this guy will come here. We say, hey, you're doing everything wrong. We'll take our money and we'll go away. That's no, I don't like to work in that way, but I understand that that could be felt in that way. Besides that, answering to your question, and let me answer with a clear data and information that we gather over experiment that we did before I became a consultant. In one of the companies that I was working with, basically what we learned is that, and what we understood after identifying some patterns, is that the fastest we answered and reached to specific inbound leads that were scored based on our qualification, our criteria, the fastest we were closing them, and the bigger the ticket size or the deal size. So what we did was like adding like a chatbot or some scoring solution, understanding where are they coming from, and based on the criteria that we had at that time for that company. And we say, hey, if they match this criteria, there should be someone, I don't know, and I don't care who, but from the sales team should be calling them in less than 1 hour. Because we noticed that if we call those inbound hot potential leads in less than 60 minutes, the conversion rate went up more than 40%. So that's money. That's pure money. And that was revenue for us. And we want to make more commission. We want to make more money. And that's crazy.
Let me quickly interrupt you. And this was before the AI time, right?
AI. And you mentioned it. Right now, I don't know if we are going to be able to, because we have a lot of things that we want to talk about. But if it's not in this one, for sure, we will talk in the next episode about how AI, with clear examples, clear data, insights, and topics that are happening right now and we are implementing in companies. But it's as you're saying, we needed to route the lead towards myself or anyone in the team to pick them up, pick the phone. The thing is that sometimes, as we in SaaS, mainly we are selling, or in technology, we are selling globally. If someone from Los Angeles or San Francisco was leaving or filling a form and I was in Barcelona 9 hours ahead, then it's that 60-minute window or gap. It's impossible to make it happen. Right now, there are solutions. We are going to talk about that, but that's crazy.